Hello, fellow indoor golfers. Today on Gerald's Corner, we're going to talk about the Skytrak Wedge Matrix. The Wedge Matrix is a piece of software built into the Skytrak software that you can use when you're using the Skytrak software. If you have the game improvement plan or the plane improved plan, it'll come on there automatically. It's something that helps you as a golfer better understand the yardages of your wedges. You'll be able to hit a pitch shot, a half shot, a three-quarter shot, and a full shot. Get the yardage for each of those shots with your wedges, help you eliminate some shots in the short game when you're playing golf. Let's get after it and learn how to use this thing. All right, so when you log into your Skytrak software, make sure your Skytrak is connected, obviously. You've got, right now I'm in network mode. Then you've got your main menu, practice, challenge, game improvement. We're gonna go to the game improvement menu. Wedge Matrix is the last one, so we'll click on Wedge Matrix. Let it load, say, welcome to Wedge Matrix. Let's begin. Now for me, right now you can see that there's select clubs. You've got your lob wedge, sand wedge, gap wedge, pitching wedge. For me, I only have 3 wedges. So I'm going to select 3. We're going to change gap wedge to pitching wedge. And this will be for my game. Now, number of swing types, you can change that as well. You can go 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you want to start out basic and just find your full swing distance, that's great. You can do that and just select 1. I'm going to do 4 because I actually played these 4 different shots. Shots per club, for today's purposes, we're going to do 5. Normally, when I use the Wedge Matrix, I actually do 10 shots, and then I'll take the 7 best out of those 10. Today, we're going to do shots per swing. We'll do 5, or shots per swing / shot, and then best shots selected, we're going to do 3, because I don't think it's great necessarily to do 5 shots, and then you shank one, and then that's in your mix as well. So we're going to do the best 3, just to give it a little bit better numbers. And then swing types, you can see you've got your pitch, your half swing, your three-quarter swing, and your full swing. And when I get back up to hit some balls, I'll go through that with you and kind of tell you how I play those swings essentially, or how I think about those swings when I'm playing. So this is going to be my setup. I'm going to save this preset in here. We're going to call it Gerald's Run and save it. Then we'll hit apply, and we'll get into it. All right, so my wedges are a 60, a 55, and a pitching wedge. And my pitching wedge is 45 degrees. So I have a really big gap between my pitching wedge and my 55. The Wedge Matrix actually helped me figure this out as far as how I'm going to control those distances, and helped me learn how to use these pitch, half, three-quarter, and full swings to create different distances. I literally went and printed it off, kept it in my golf bag for a long time. And when I went to the range, I would sit there and hit those shots over and over again before I played golf. It's really helped me learn how to control those, and essentially has let me take the gap wedge out of my bag because I don't really need it. And it's helped me stabilize my handicap. So where I've been a single digit for 30 years, I've been scratch for probably the last, we'll say 12 to 15 years, or near scratch. I did burst up to about a 5 at one time. My wedge game actually helped me bring that back down to like 1.5 to 2 now, where I don't play a lot of golf. I'm only playing like 8 or 10 rounds a year, but I practice a lot of that stuff in here. So we're going to start with the 60. We'll start with the pitch shot. We'll work our way through the 60, and then that'll get us to a point where we'll just start going through the rest of the clubs. All right, so once you hit apply, you're going to get this screen up. It's going to tell you which shot you're hitting, which club you're hitting, and we'll go from there. So again, for me, I think about this more as a clock system, right? So I'm going to have an 8 o'clock swing, a 9 o'clock swing at half speed, a 9 o'clock swing at full speed, and then a 10 o'clock swing, which will be my full swing. And as we go through this, I'll kind of explain those swings to you, why I do it that way. It's just something for me, obviously, to make it easier, but why I do it that way and what we're going to get out of that as a result. So you've got all your stats up here that you would have on your normal driving range, and then we'll look at those yardages as we go through and kind of get an idea of exactly where they're at. So let's start with this pitch shot. 8 o'clock swing, normal speed. And we're going to go 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock and stop it. And that'll give you an idea. So 60, half swing or 60 pitch shot. All right, so for me, again, my half swing that I call it is 9 o'clock at half speed. So it'll be 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock at a smooth tempo. I'll show you the 3/4 swing when we get to that one here in just a second. So half swing. All right, so next we have the 3/4 shot. And for me, that 3/4 shot, I'm gonna do the exact same backswing. I'm just gonna finish it. Just so I can make sure that I'm accelerating through it, that'll add the backspin to it. It'll help me stop the ball and it'll help me control the distance and the trajectory. So if the wind's high, like we get a lot of high wind in Dallas, right? So when the wind's high, I'll never hit a full lob wedge because it gets up in the air and the wind takes it and you never know what it's gonna do. But I'll hit a ton of these little 3/4 and half lob wedges because they're not spinning as much as say a full swing would. This one will spin more and typically it'll come back a little bit for me as well. So let's get an idea where we're at. Hopefully it's around 95 to 100 yards today. That one was hit. You see how much that came back. That had 10,779 RPMs of backspin. So that's one that, you know, let's say that the pin's in the front and there's water in the front, you've got to carry it, but you're 100 yards out. That's the shot I would probably hit for that, where, you know, it's a 95-yard shot, but I need to carry it 100 to ensure that I don't go in the water. That's the shot I'm going to hit there. So it's fantastic to be able to have that ability. The wedge matrix actually helped me figure that out too. So it's been great to play around with. My lob wedge does not get hit full swing very often. It's like, if I have a little tailwind, it's a 115-yard shot and I want the ball to carry a little bit more, I might hit it. But I probably only hit, in a given year, if I played 10 rounds a year, I would probably only hit 3 or 4 full lob wedges. But I like to know how far it goes and how much spin it gets. So I'd like to use it in this. The other thing I'll say about that, when you are hitting these balls full swing with a lob wedge, it's going to go much higher than those half, 3/4 shots. So it's going to land, it might spin back, it might not. It just depends on the green conditions and where you land on the green. But for me, I do generate a lot of spin when I start to hit these. I don't know that I'll get any more than that 10.7, but it's coming in at a steeper trajectory too. So the ball reacts a little different on the green than a big hop and hard spin. So let's hit a few and see what happens with it. All right, so my 55 is probably Behind my 6-iron, my 55 is probably my second favorite club in my bag. I use this thing all the time. If there's heavy rough around the green, I use it there. If I have like I hit a bad 6-iron and I'm in a downhill slope, I'll use this in that sense. Use it out of the bunker, and I only have 10 degrees of bounce on it because I don't have a really steep swing and I don't want to skip it into the ball. So I only have 10 degrees of bounce because that gives me a little more versatility for my game too. So as we're working our way through this, obviously this is something that for me, it's like a cardio session because I don't hit balls like this very often, especially the repetitive nature of it. But it really helps you kind of start to build a rhythm with these too. And I think this is something that as you're practicing, do a lot of every day. I would start with the wedge matrix every day that you practice on your Skytrak, just because it really helps you understand what's going on with your swing and your yardages. But it helps you warm up as well. If you want to start with one and end with one, awesome. It'll make you better. When we break down the data, basically what happens with this is it gives you a list of your yardages, your averages that you hit, and how far with each one of those swings. So this will really help you build in those numbers, dial in those numbers. You can see for me a full swing on my pitching wedge, it says 142. I play it a little farther than that. I didn't hit great shots with that swing. My favorite shot to hit in golf are these half swings, those 9 o'clock half speed swings. I hit those all the time. I hit them with every club. I have a yardage for every club. And this is exactly what I'm seeing on here. These are the numbers I actually play. So, I'd say 75, 100, and 115 are those half swing, half speed numbers with these clubs. So I'm really happy to see that. The other ones, I'm not surprised. I think that that's pretty good. I don't hit too many of the hard 3/4 shots unless it's windy or I'm downwind or something and I need to control the trajectory. But then when we get to full swing, again, pretty close. I think the pitching wedge, I didn't hit any good shots with that, or I only hit 2 good shots with that. So that number is a little lower than what I would expect, but that's okay. 1 out of however many numbers that is, 1 out of 12 numbers that I'm not happy with, that's good. It also gives me a good idea of what's going on with those little 8 o'clock pitch shots that I don't dial in or practice very much. But 50 yards, my lob wedge, that's one I definitely hit a lot. That's that little low checker. But use the wedge matrix. Take advantage of it. This is a great way to help you improve your game on the Skytrak. Hey, if you like the content from today, like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. Leave us any questions or comments you might have. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or check us out at shopindoorgolf.com. We were hitting on a 4x7 SIG Pro mat today and a SIG 12 enclosure. If you have any questions about those, you can also check out our website. Thank you for watching.